Most people think early retirement is a lottery ticket. You hit a windfall, you sell a company, you get lucky. That is completely false. I retired at 32. No magic, no exit, no crypto, just math, leverage, and clarity. Looking back, there were 7 signs that I was on track, and every one of them had nothing to do with age or net worth. If you're hitting these, you're closer to financial freedom than you think, so let's break them down so you understand how close you are to the target of owning and controlling your time. Signal number 1 is your monthly income isn't dependent on your labor. Listen, if you have to show up to get paid, you're not on track. Doesn't matter if it's $80,000 a year or $800,000 a year. If the income stops when you stop, it's just a treadmill with nicer shoes. The first real sign of freedom is income that doesn't need you. Passive income, rent, dividends, cash flow, policy loans. It doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be working without you being the one putting the work in. That's what buys time back. That's your first signal. Signal number 2 is you've stopped thinking in net worth terms. Listen, the middle class, they worship the wrong target. They've all been trained, taught, and educated to measure their success, their financial success, based on their net worth. It might sound impressive to brag that you've got $1 million net worth, but it's completely useless when it's time to live off of your net worth. A $1.2 million retirement account, it looks good on paper. You can tell your friends, man, you've made it. You're in the 7-figure club. But if you're terrified to spend it, you're not really free. You're just well decorated. My friends, freedom starts when you start thinking in monthly income, not abstract totals. I track income producing assets, nothing else. This brings us to signal number 3. You have a vault. You don't retire by locking your money away until you're 59 and a half. You do it by keeping it liquid, compounding, and completely in your control in a private account that no one has access to other than you. That's why every client we work with, they build what we call a vault. It's a properly structured, high cash value, in fact, overfunded cash value life insurance policy. Once your money is in this account, all of your money starts growing completely tax-free. It compounds no matter what's happening in the market, and you can access that capital anytime with 0 taxes, 0 penalties, and no begging for permission. It's a private account that you have complete and unilateral control over, built by and backed by a private contract built by a private insurance company. It's the most amazing, underknown financial tool that exists, but it becomes the foundation for building real wealth. Now listen, the wealthy, they've used these type of accounts for hundreds of years, even banks. This is the number 1 place that banks store the capital that they have to keep liquid. They don't store it in banks, my friends. They keep it in private vaults because it grows their money more effectively and gives them way more benefits than a bank ever would. So it's time that you start looking into this account. Now listen, I realized I was playing a rigged game. I was trading my life today by handing my money to Wall Street. And I was just hoping that someday it was all gonna work out. Someday they would build my net worth. Someday I would have enough money to retire. Then I read the book that changed everything for me. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I ran the math for myself and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Savers really were losers, and I was the loser. I realized that the system, the Wall Street system, it was never designed to give me the life I wanted, and I wasn't willing to bet my freedom on it anymore. So I pulled all of my money out of their system, off of the game of Wall Street, and I built my own system instead. It was the best move I ever made. If you want to retire in 10 years or less, we built a free course that shows you exactly how to do it. Normally, it's reserved for private clients only, but for a limited time, we're unlocking it for you watching this video right now. So go to the second link in the description and get in before we take it down. This brings me to signal number 4. Your assets pay for your lifestyle. The moment your assets, not your job, start funding your life, you are in control. I don't use earned income for my mortgage, my travel, or my investments. Real estate cash flow covers the base. Policy loans cover the expansion. Freedom means your lifestyle is funded by design, not by effort. That's real freedom. And it comes from owning assets that generate cash flow. You don't need 50 doors to do it. You just need the right system, the right ones doing the right job to get you a very specified outcome. This brings me to signal number 5. You don't need to sell to get paid. Most retirement plans require you to sell off your assets to access money. That's all the stock market is. You build up a bunch of shares, you sell those shares, you draw down your portfolio, and you hope that you don't sell them too fast and run out of portfolio before you run out of life. This is a game of scarcity. I've met with people hundreds of times over that on paper seem to have enough money in their portfolios, but they're scared to death to draw from it. The reason why? Well, they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Every time they draw from their portfolio, they watch their portfolio balance go down. That is never a game you want to be in, and it's not sustainable. That means you have to build up a big net nest egg, wait for a long time, and just hope over a long enough period of time something bad doesn't happen to crash your account. This is why you need a system based on cash flow that produces income without you ever having to sell. Because when you sell assets, that's not freedom. It's liquidation with lipstick. In my system, I don't sell anything. I own my assets for life. This allows me to build a legacy that will ultimately be passed on to my family and generate an income at the very same time. I borrow against my vault, I collect rent, I pull income while the assets keep compounding. I'm infinitely wealthy by owning the right assets and running the right system. This is how the wealthy stay wealthy. They don't sell, they leverage. Side note on this, when you sell, you trigger taxes. Taxes are the biggest hidden liability that you have to your future income. If you don't sell, you use leverage, you never pay taxes. This brings me now to signal number 6. You think in ratios, not budgets. Most people live by budgets, but budgets are about restriction. They're about scarcity. I look at ratios. What percentage of my income is passive? How much covers my lifestyle? How much is reinvested? What's compounding? If 70 to 100% of your lifestyle is covered by income that's not tied to your time, you're already free. Whether you retire or not, it's just a personal decision. What is your cash flow ratio compared to the lifestyle that you want? This brings us to the final signal. Signal number 7, you realize you don't need to wait. The system tells you that retirement happens after 40 years. You have to work for 40 years, hopefully by 65 or 67, once you hit some magical elusive number, but all of that is a lie. It's a carefully crafted lie to keep you trapped in their system. Consider this, the more time you spend in their system, the more money they make off your labor, right? Think about this, every dollar you send to Wall Street, those benevolent people on Wall Street aren't working for free. No, they're charging you right off the top. It's called assets under management. Whether it's 1% or 2%, every time the market goes up or goes down or stays flat, they make money while you trade time. That's the lie. But on the other hand, if you've built income systems that work without you, if your lifestyle is covered, your capital is liquid, and your assets are growing, you're already there. You don't need their permission. You don't need the system's permission. You don't need validation. You just need to stop trading time for money. That's what this game is really all about. So let me leave you with this. Most people will reach retirement age and still be scared to spend what they've saved. They've followed the rules, they did everything right, and they're still waiting. They're waiting to feel safe. They're waiting for the green light. They're waiting for permission. They're waiting to live. If you want real freedom, you need a system that prints income, protects your capital, and works whether the market cooperates or not. Click this video right here. Wall Street, they hate me for it, but I promise you're gonna thank me because it breaks down exactly how we escape their system and retire sooner than they want you to. Click it now and I'll meet you in that video.